Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tuuli Pirttiaho. Welcome, Tuuli.
Thank you, Olli.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And would you like in the beginning introduce yourself?
Thank you. Um, my name is Tuuli, and I come from Finland, Jyväskylä. Right now, I am at my office, which is kind of also a coaching studio. I am professional coach, certified coactive professional coach from my newest background right now. And yes, I have a background in business and leadership management and running networks and small and medium companies and so on. But right now, maybe from 2016, I have totally kind of focused on individual and leadership and group coaching, as well as organizational coaching.
So you've been doing different kind of communication coaching before, and now you have went mainly to wellness coaching, if I understand correctly. Would you like to tell a little bit more about your coaching at the moment?
Yes, you mentioned wellness coaching, and it's totally kind of really important part of the kind of holistic approach that I have. It's not something separate of the other coaching perspectives as leadership and for example management and self management. But wellness coaching is a quite broad area for me, for myself, and my background, which comes from mostly from communication. I combine how is the communication part of well-being, and then I have a partnership with, for example, nutritionist and also Pilates instructor and so on, doctors, psychologists, and we kind of combine our common knowledge or mutual knowledge about well-being. So it's kind of broad subject for me.
Yeah. So how do you approach coaching? You said that you have different people in the team. Did you have right away these different people in your network, or did it come later? Did you start by yourself and then notice that you need some help?
Well, I do have a kind of new partners also, which has evolved by this doing or and developing together. But I must say that these kind of earliest partners for this branch, I knew them very well because I had been kind of a client myself for a nutritionist, and also I practiced Pilates more than 20 years. So kind of it was a kind of a very natural network to start cooperation. And my husband works on the medical technologies field, so I kind of also combine this medical technology to my coaching. So maybe it was something we just kind of found together, a bunch of people who know each other, and we realized that maybe we can have a larger view together.
And I think quite often it's that people are doing by themselves this kind of coaching. They try to manage everything by themselves. Could you tell more about how do you organize your team? How do you work? Who's doing what, and how do you make everything work?
All right, thanks. It's a good question for myself too, because we are in a phase that we should and we could, and there would be a good market to expand. And of course, we are entrepreneurs individually and in this group, and we all have to kind of know how to balance our clients and personal time and so on. But I would say that our clients, bigger clients, which we have together, kind of course, define how we develop our services. So it's kind of a very client-based, need-based development. But also we all study our branches more, even as kind of adult studies. So maybe we all bring something new all the time. And yes, we have very regular cooperation. We meet weekly and change ideas in a kind of very non-hierarchical way. So I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah,
We are not very organized in a very kind of hierarchical way.
yeah, but anyway, you are organized in a way that it works for you. So I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, for other people who might be thinking that they would need a partner network, what could you see as potential challenges, and how would you work through them if there's somebody who's interested building the same kind of system as you have at the moment?
Yes, yes. Now, when I think about that, first thing that came to my mind is that if the partners, the companies, like we are very small companies, all are very different size companies, then there could be a challenge. But
Mm,
when you can kind of know what are the resources and what are the kind of tools each one of has, we are kind of on the same scale. I think that is a very good thing for us, at least.
mm,
And what other problems? Oh well, it's this is people business, so it's always
mm,
that you if you are kind of open to suggestions, you're also open to and vulnerable in a personal level. So
mm,
maybe these kind of very individual and humanistic problems could
mm,
how do you say that, appear.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. So, and you mentioned that it's mainly customer led, that it depends what your customers want. So you have like nutritionist, you also do like some cardiovascular measurements, you do Pilates. How what do your customers usually want? What kind of trends you can see there? Is there that bigger companies or industries want something, individuals something different? What kind of trends you see, and what is a normal case for you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, COVID time kind of changed quite a lot for us too. And from my opinion and from our experience, people are more and more, interested about a holistic approach. So, what kind of all kind of perspectives they could have to improve their health and well-being, as well as doing and self-management and work-related things. That's my very profound founding. So it's
Mm,
not, only one thing.
mm,
Also, bigger companies are looking for very holistic and kind of program or at least process-like services.
mm. And how do you see behavior change? Like, you cannot change too many things at the same time. How do you approach it? Even if you want holistic, you cannot concentrate on too many things at the same time. How do you approach this in your coaching?
Yes, the kind of you asked what would be the basic case or a usual client. Maybe we don't have that, but if I kind of demonstrate one path, it would go like we have a client who will attend, for example, 12 months program,
Mm,
one individual, and then I normally start with the client, if he or she wants, with ECG measurement, stress measurement, HRV, ECG together, and vegetative balance measurement, so that we kind of get the basic line where the physical stress level is right now and recovery levels. And then I also might work with some, psychological stress tests that I use as a professional coach.
mm,
And then it would take probably a couple of months to just adjust to the idea that there is something a person wants to do and wants to know more and wants to learn more. And then comes the breathe techniques and Pilates training, also face Pilates, for example, and nutritionist comes along. And then we kind of offer the very wide plate variety of exploring oneself in a very free and slow phase. It's not
mm,
very quick. And then maybe in 3 months, a person really realizes that this is the thing that I do want to, focus on and develop about and have new and more perspectives. And then we offer something else,
mm,
in a very practical way, maybe tools, maybe even kind of small group coaching or philosophical coaching and so on. But the body and the nutrition and the mind and also communication issues are along at his or her own pace. And of course, we kind of wrap it up in the end. So what's the kind of not the result, but the view in the end for a client? And it differs. People find so many different things. You
Yeah.
can't be very brief about that, but that's how it starts normally.
Yeah, that sounds good. But usually you start with the stress measurement, so you probably
Yes.
see it as a crucial part to start with.
Well, it's not totally crucial, but it offers a certain kind of, platform to talk about the well-being and, the things that are going in a person's life. So it's a kind of a very, very, I think, simple way. I know the measurement is not simple itself or other data, but to discuss about that topic with the client is a very lean start.
And how would you see, like, for example, like people talk a lot about the importance of sleep. It's very important, and you could say that if you are active, if you do a lot of physical activity, for example, you usually naturally sleep better because you are more tired, you are less stressed. So you could basically approach improving sleep through physical activity, or you can approach in a way that you start first with the stress, because if you are too busy, too stressed, you cannot control other things in life. It might be difficult to do, for example, exercise. How would you see this in holistic? What's the best part to start in your opinion?
Yeah. People are quite worried about their sleep nowadays. And of course, quite many other, as I measure, for example, my sleep on the regular basis with this ring. So people want to know about their sleep and they are quite worried. But quite often in ECG coaching, we find that the sleep quality might be better than a person thinks. So that's also always available to search if I am just too worried about my sleep. But of course, there is other kind of patterns and in my holistic coaching or our approach, we don't kind of immediately concentrate on exercise or sleep at first, even if it's a big topic, because we kind of, I think I like to say, dig deeper or we explore more, and then it kind of comes along. And for example, 1 week's task or focus on a client could be that just keep a diary about your sleep for a week. Write one sentence about one night every day, and then we will come back to that topic. So we don't want to kind of make it too large in the beginning to know all about it. Sensing and noticing and just approaching the topic is oftentimes really enough.
Yeah. So you mentioned that people are quite worried about their sleep, and when you actually do the measurements, they actually seem to sleep better than they thought. Why do you think this is? Where do you think it comes from?
Well, sometimes. Well, this is a very, very thorough and large topic if we go to the sleep ECG measurement. But this is my experience and what I have witnessed is that people, for example, it depends if you go to sleep early enough or in a right time for you. So you probably go to sleep or fall asleep better. But if you kind of try to go to sleep too early, so the getting to sleep is more difficult. Or if you go too late, your sympathetic nervous system is, slowing down too slowly. And that's the beginning of the night. And there could be many other varieties too for the beginning of the night. And then during the night, some people are they kind of suffer the the awake moments, which we all have. They kind of suffer that they realize that I'm not in a total sleep, and they start worrying about that. But it's natural during the sleep to be not in a deep sleep or REM sleep all the time. So we kind of discuss about that. That why are you worried about those awake moments or tiny light sleep moments? And then in the middle of the night, anything could happen from the, it's what the life situation is for the person. So we discuss about that. What is the night like? And then there is the waking up part. So I think it's from my experience, we look at the morning too. So what is the kind of a mental attitude you wake up? If you're immediately worried about the day's doings, you probably wake up feeling more tired than if you're expecting something nice to happen in the morning, and you're not probably that nervous in the morning. But maybe this explanation is too hard to kind of open here, because it varies so much. I don't make any kind of calculations how many people do this and this and that. I just individually explore the sleep with the person.
So very individualized approach. So basically you said that in the beginning you usually do the stress measurement, you might pay attention to sleep. Where does the coaching usually go, even though it's individual? Which direction it usually goes? You said that you have nutritionist, you have Pilates coaching, and so on. Where does it usually lead to?
Well, of course, I am the influencer here, and because they are kind of my coachees, we work, and they have chosen to be working with me. That topics expand most oftenly to the life itself, existential questions and about one's future and fulfilling future, and very large ones. And of course, we combine that, for example, the nutrition or the food you're consuming is good for your situation, but we don't go really deeply into that unless there is health issues that acquire that. And this Pilates work, for example, is core work, which also kind of lifts and strengthens the person's ability to concentrate on themselves, to their own core, and they are very, very close together. But in the end, I think that the aim is not change; it's more like transformation, which means in transformational coaching, transformation itself, that people or person kind of realizes that I am in a transformation constantly, and I can kind of also manage that or realize that or live that in a more fulfilling way.
Yeah, so I think this is a good point to go a little bit into your coaching philosophy. You mentioned your approach, some of them. Could you explain more? How do you approach your coaching from the philosophical point of view?
Oh yes. I am totally not an academic person myself. I am kind of self-made philosophy knower. But my mother, though, is a philosophical researcher, so I have the background and working with her from hermeneutics, existential and phenomenological philosophy. So I have kind of developed with my mother and with a psychology colleague of mine, kind of basic foundation for a process in coaching. And if I could quickly, it's like it's a hermeneutical cycle or circle, as you want to say. We first open with the client. And I say we because I really work together with the person, but of course I'm kind of supporting the opening for him or herself. And it's awakening period where you just, kind of throw yourself into this question, then what's happening in this process in many ways. And also body view is very important in this opening or open phase. And then we call it art, which is kind of aesthetical view. and it's finding new perspectives. And there is this, for example, nutrition and Pilates comes into picture, that you really in a very many ways, and for example, art and nature comes in the picture. Look for new perspectives on yourselves and on others too, not only on yourself. And then the third part is, we call it act, like, and building something, like bold tryouts, and try something in real, so that it's not only imagination and thinking, but you really take your body with you and kind of throw yourself into the level of tryouts which are demanding enough for you, or challenging, or inviting, immersive even. And then there is the kind of fourth part, which kind of this evolves and grows the need to share, and also the kind of build on a new habit. But if you build on a new habit or a thought you have found, you want to share your story in a different way. You want to meet people in a different way or in a new way, and kind of explore what you have found in real life situations. So we call it a sharing, or us. It's more like me and we. It's like us in a philosophical way. And then in the middle of the circle, there is this. Someone might call it higher self, or deeper knowing, or deeper transformation in yourself, or just being and doing in your life as a person is in the middle. And you go around the circle, and you, from the beginning, from open, art, act, us, and arc, I might call it arc, which is archaic self in the philosophy. You kind of build a new story about yourself, for yourself and for others and for the world. So this is my philosophical kind of platform for processes. But then I, of course, use quite a lot of different tools how to explore this.
Sounds very interesting that you have really deeper philosophical point behind, and you have actually been able to create it as a process that you go through with people and be able to do it individually. And I like the idea that you kind of build new idea of yourself, because you need to, if you have been, for example, inactive person, you need kind of new identity. You need to see yourself in different way. Could you elaborate a little bit more? How do you build new yourself?
Well, yeah, I am not very strict how what kind of words and what kind of visualization or metaphor you use. But I'm maybe more kind of think that we already are what we are, and we kind of peel it out. So people have the ability to do what they want already inside of them in our approach, and we kind of peel it with all the stress factors or stress related behavior what people might have, or a communication kind of habits that we have developed for ourselves. We kind of peel it out, and then it reveals. Maybe that's how I see it. And what I think, what's my experience, and when that's also because I'm my professional coaching background comes from co-active method, which is quite close to my own philosophical platform, by the way. But the basic, the idea for a human being is that people are resourceful, creative, and whole. And we don't kind of seek the change. As I said in the beginning, it's not the change, it's transformation. And we kind of, we find it. We don't probably take so much new things in than throwing unnecessary things out.